Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. We originally had a show planned for today during the first hour with a gentleman from Israel who was going to talk about how too much antioxidants are really bad for you. And we've heard this before, but they had some really good research that we wanted to explore, especially as it relates to cancer. We know that too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So we're going to kind of just gloss over that for a second. And then I opened up today's show to be a Q&A. So anybody who has any questions, you can post them here, either on Facebook or on YouTube, and I will do my best to answer them. We have quite a few questions already that have been posted that we will discuss. Later in the show, we're going to be talking about a special offer from a sponsor. If you are a fan of CBD, you're going to love this because it is a 3-product bundle that will help you train, ease your pain, and help you sleep. 3 separate products. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Of course, we have to thank our title sponsor, Legendary Food. Legendary Food, who puts such wind in our sails. People like Ron Penna and Shannon Penna over there who believe in the mission of this show, put their shoulder behind this show because they believe that we are helping people, and we are helping people. And by the way, I'm going to make it a little announcement here in a couple minutes. Go to eatlegendary.com and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off all of the products that you love and enjoy. Allow yourself to enjoy something that tastes sweet without derailing your diet or taking you outside of your wheelhouse if you're a keto or low-carb person. Nothing tastes better than the products at eatlegendary.com. Check them out. And of course, like I said, you can post any questions you want, and I will do my best to answer them through today's show. So the first thing I want to mention is those of you who've been listening to this show for a long time, and I know there's a lot because some of my questions are from people that have listened to the show for 8, 9, 10 years. And whenever I get emails from people, they always tell me about how the show has helped them or helped a relative. I'm asking you to either go to one of our Facebook pages, most notably the Superhuman Radio Network Facebook page, or our Instagram, which is at Superhuman Radio. And if you go to the bio in Instagram and click the link in the bio, there is a portal for you to make a 3-minute or less video on your smartphone and upload it to us. Because I am looking to hear people's personal Superhuman Radio stories. We want to put them all together to make like a montage and start using it in social media. So if, in fact, this show has helped you in any way, helped someone you love, please take a moment, 3 minutes or less, and just real impromptu, don't rehearse it, just talk about the show and what the show has done for you. And then either go to Superhuman Radio Facebook page, which is Facebook/Superhuman Radio Network. Look for the red banner ad that says upload your video. Go to the Instagram page is at Superhuman Radio. While you're there, follow us. And use the red banner ad there to upload your video. You'll give us permission to use it also, obviously. That's why we're asking you to do this. And tell me your story. Tell me the story about how this show has affected your life or the life of your loved ones. I would greatly appreciate your help with that. And of course, our Instagram page is at Superhuman Radio. So check it out. So right off the cuff, let's go to the first question that was submitted live on this page here from Christopher Price. He says, do you advocate vitamin C drips? He's talking about intravenous for jacking the immune system, which allows for much greater volume of C because you bypass the digestive tract and do not pee it out. Actually, first pass liver degradation is not the damning part of using vitamin C. So vitamin C is an easily oxidized antioxidant. Easily oxidized. The real problem with vitamin C is that it's oxidized as it passes through the cell wall. So you have vitamin C that's ready to be an antioxidant. And just by passing through the cell wall, which it needs to be in the cell to have an action, it becomes oxidized. So now it can't be an antioxidant. It has to be recycled by another antioxidant, such as glutathione. Now, that process happens pretty naturally in us. But now you're using glutathione to rescue vitamin C. A better alternative than vitamin C intravenous drips is actually a high-quality liposomal vitamin C. And here's why. Number one, liposomal vitamin C also bypasses first-pass liver degradation because it uses the lymphatic system in the intestines to get into the body. It's not, because it's a fat, it's treated like a fat. And as a result of it, it really digests way further down, requiring other enzymes, bile, for instance, to work on them. This molecule that's trapped inside this fat bubble, which is what a liposome is, it's basically a fat bubble, is kind of like a Trojan horse. The body recognizes it as a fat, treats it like a fat, but then when it gets down further out of the gut, it's actually absorbed through the wall. And this is almost like intraperitoneal when you think about it. We talk about intraperitoneal gavages that they use to give rodents molecules or agents to bypass digestion. Liposomal delivery kind of does that on its own. But here's really where the magic happens with liposomal delivery. So because I said that vitamin C is oxidized as it passes through the cell wall to get inside the cell, and it's no longer an antioxidant, it has to be recycled by something else like glutathione. When the molecule of vitamin C is in that liposome, because the wall of your cell is a fat, it's almost like a bead of mercury. The liposome attaches to the outside of the cell wall, and it actually delivers the vitamin C intact, still as an antioxidant through the cell wall, because it's not oxidized in the process of working its way through the cell wall. It's carried through the cell wall, protected by this bubble of fat. So when you take a liposomal vitamin C, you're not only bypassing the first pass liver degradation and the traditional digestive process that's really renders a lot of vitamin C useless, but you're also placing it into the cell in its unoxidized form. So now it's an antioxidant. It can do the job that you intended it to do. There's a lot of research out there that shows that taking large doses of liposomal vitamin C, such as 2, 3, 4 grams a day, is more effective at doing the things that people use vitamin C IV drips for. And it's a lot less expensive. It's a lot more convenient because you can self-administer. You could take 5 grams of vitamin C a day if there's a goal. Now, I will say that too much vitamin C isn't great either. The show that was originally supposed to happen during this first hour discusses the dangers of having way too much oxidation. You know, we've talked on this show for a long time about the natural rhythmicity of the body, of the human body. Growth hormone likes a rhythm. Testosterone, it likes a rhythm. Even mTOR and AMPK, if you have mTOR turned on all the time, it's not good. But if you have AMPK turned on all the time, which some people are going after today to try to prolong their lifespan, that's no good either. You can't ignore the normal biological rhythms of many, many things that go on in our body. Oxidative stress is important. It's not all bad. In fact, there's evidence that one of the ways that IGF-1 allows tumor cells to grow is not just its growth promoting factors, but because it shuts off ROS, reactive oxygen species, is a very, very highly oxidative molecule. And that molecule actually kills tumor cells early on. Now think about that for a second. So we're saying antioxidants may stop that from happening. That tumor cell will live. So I'm not a big proponent of taking huge doses of vitamin C, whether it's intravenous or whether it's liposomal. I am interested in taking some. What's enough? I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 grams a day. If you're taking a liposomal vitamin C and it's being delivered efficiently, I don't think you need more than 1 or 2 grams a day. This is platinum. Oh, you mean the information? Okay, I was like, wait, where did platinum? Is there platinum in this? Liposomal vitamin C, and yes, drips are so expensive, so they should help manage the cost. Absolutely, this is a much better alternative. Now I will tell you this: be careful, because not all liposomal vitamin C's are actually liposomes. Let me be more clear about that. Ultrasonic sound waves to agitate. Usually it's a form of phosphatidylcholine, like lecithin. So they use temperature and high speed agitation to take that gooey glob of liposomal paste, which is what it starts out as. If you look at lecithin, you add water to it, it just turns into like a big paste. They use that to agitate that precisely as they're delivering, for instance, vitamin C, since we're talking about vitamin C, in the smallest micronized size that they can. And the process of adding the vitamin C and then agitating this goop, it creates like a foam, an airy, puffy foam. And the process of agitation causes molecules of the vitamin C to get trapped in the bubble or the liposome. Just taking lecithin and vitamin C and putting it in your blender and blending it up, maybe 10% will actually be encapsulated. The rest of it won't. So it's very important when you buy a liposomal vitamin C, glutathione, whatever, that you understand that the company that's making them actually understands how to make liposomes. Excuse me a second. Drink some water. Because there's a lot of companies out there selling liquefied lecithin and vitamin C, and they're telling you it's liposomal vitamin C. I would ask them, can you explain how you make your liposomes? And if they're not using an ultrasonic bath that has a special temperature, by the way, it has to have a temperature to it. I think it's about 116 to 130 degrees, I believe, is the target temperature. And that has to go on for hours and hours and hours to truly encapsulate every molecule of whatever the compound is that you're trying to encapsulate. That is how you make liposomes. It's not easy and it's not cheap. But too many people today are going, they've got YouTube videos, how to make your own liposomal vitamin C. And all they do is they take lecithin and water and vitamin C and tell you, put it in your blender and whip it up. That is not a liposome. That is not, like I said, maybe 10% are accidentally getting trapped in those liposome encapsulations, but that is not how you make liposomes. But liposomal vitamin C will do everything that you want it to do. Quite frankly, there's a handful of companies out there that make great liposomal vitamin C today. You just need to search for those. And again, buyer beware. Ask them, how do you make your liposomes? You know, if they're just like, oh yeah, we add lecithin, water, and vitamin C, and we whip it up, or if they're not using an ultrasonic bath, ask them. There are actually, if you go on the web and Google liposomal manufacturing equipment, you'll see these machines. These machines, they're like $500,000, $1 million. They're huge. You know, they make like 100 gallons of liposomes at a time. And then there's very small machines that make a gallon or two of liposomes at a time that you can buy and have in your kitchen if you want. I think those are maybe $3,000 or $4,000. But if they're not using a piece of equipment that's designed to make liposomes, you're not getting liposomal vitamin C. Quite frankly, if you're going to pay for that, just make the stuff at home with your blender, because it's going to be pretty much just as useless as that. So there you go. And again, overdoing antioxidants is a bad idea. You could actually promote the growth of cancer if all you do. See, like right now, there's companies out there and they're promoting C60, right? Which is the most efficient antioxidant in the world. It really is. It's called buckyballs, Buckminster fullerene, C60. And they did a study on rodents, one study, and the rodents lived longer than they should normally compared to littermates that weren't given C60, but they were given C60 for most of their life. And they were like, oh, this is great. This will extend life. But what they failed to mention is that in the presence of highly efficient, highly recyclable, high amounts of antioxidants, this is where, if you are prone to cancers, if you have tumor cells that are starting to develop and your immune system would normally get them out of you, or oxidative stress from ROS from your workouts would definitely kill them, all those antioxidants will create an environment where cancer can spread faster. And when you realize that, you say, gee, you know, what am I taking all these antioxidants for? Because some rodents lived longer? We don't have any evidence that people live longer from taking C60. None. There's no research. Everybody's out there taking C60 and they're like, oh, this is going to make me live forever. It may end up leading to cancer. And the people who sell C60 can't tell me no to that, because if they'll put it in writing that C60 will never, ever increase the possibility of you developing cancer, and then wager all of their money on it, their homes and all that, say, and if we're wrong, you could take our homes, our money, and everything that our future generations have, then I'll say, well, now I'll think about it. But they won't do that. Right? Not even pharmaceutical companies that make billions of dollars a year would do something like that, because nobody really knows. But what we do know is that too much antioxidants have been shown in humans and in rodents to actually promote cancer. But if you have a cancer, it will make it spread faster and grow faster. Okay. The next question. So these two questions are anonymous. They're pretty long. I'll answer them slowly because I didn't get any approval ahead of time. But these are just a smattering of emails that I receive on a regular basis. And please, if you're watching the show and you have a question, no matter how ridiculous you think it is, please post it. And I will do my best to answer it. And you know what? I just realized, let me go to my personal webpage. Whenever I publish the show, I say that I want everyone to be able to see it. And as soon as the show goes live, it goes to friends only. And so if you have a question here, see, we'll get more questions now from people. Watch. He says, my wife and I are trying to conceive. I did a sperm test about 6 weeks ago and came back horrible in all categories. I'm on TRT at the time. I was on TRT at the time of the test. I take 200 milligrams of test sip a week, 500 milligrams of Hcg twice a week, which I think is a bad protocol, and an AI aromatase inhibitor. After the test, I went to the clinic doctor and he said, don't change anything. And my wife's fertility doctor, who does not treat men, said, just get off the testosterone and take vitamins. That just goes to show this is where doctors shouldn't give advice when they don't know. take vitamins. What are vitamins going to do if your testosterone goes through the ground like a 16-year-old girl? Does he think you're going to be able to produce more sperm that way? Of course not. No. I mean, I would be more respectful of him if he had said, let's put you on a post-cycle therapy. Let's introduce some clomiphene citrate. Let's change your HCG dosing schedule. But keep in mind that I know bodybuilders who were on more than a gram of testosterone a week, who fathered children while they were on. So it was always thought that taking any amount of testosterone exogenously completely shut down spermatozoa. The whole development of sperm, the spermatogenesis process, they always said that any testosterone, injectable testosterone taken for any length of time was going to shut that down, make men fertile. In fact, in Europe, they use NPP, nandrolone phenylpropionate, as a male anti-fertility drug. They use it for birth control for men. Now that's a different compound. NPP is different. It's not testosterone. In fact, it does shut testosterone off completely. So if you use NPP, you're using a non-aromatizing androgen that actually has more progestational, it increases progestin more than anything else, rising in the blood, while testosterone is completely shut off. But when you're taking testosterone, your body's not making testosterone, but there's still testosterone present in the bloodstream. And again, if more bodybuilders would come forth and acknowledge this, we'd be a lot better off, because I know a lot of bodybuilders that have fathered children while on at least 1,000 milligrams of testosterone a week, and they were on it for years. So it wasn't like they just introduced it and they got pregnant. No, they were on it for years, and then they had successful births, 3, 4 sometimes. I think where you're getting into trouble here is, let me get the rest of the question up. I thought these were poor answers. You're right. So I switched clinics. New doctor said, okay, to stay on test, but added 25 milligrams of clomiphene a day. And now HCG 500 milligrams daily. That's too much. Oh, too much. Really. Anything more than 1,000 milligrams of HCG a day is going to damage and possibly permanently damage Leydig cells in the testes. So even if you do father a child, you'll never make any testosterone again on your own, because the Leydig cells won't be responsible to luteinizing hormone any longer. That's a bad idea. He says, sorry for the long question. If I was in your shoes, what would I do? I know this really isn't a show question, but I was looking for a past show on fertility and TRT. Not sure if I've ever done one. Not one like this, but this is a good question, because there's a lot of guys out there. Infertility is a big problem today. The truth is, I just read a study on the changes in sperm quality from men who have used corticosteroids to treat topical skin disorders like plaque psoriasis and eczema. Their sperm changes. A lot of things change your sperm. It's not all just testosterone. Infertility is a problem today, and it's not because of testosterone. It is in some cases where guys have very low testosterone, but there's more at work here that can alter the quality of sperm and the motility of sperm, and whether or not it swims strong or dies fast, and all these other functions that sperm has to abide by in order to be successful in creating a pregnancy. I would do this. I would stop the AIs. I have a feeling that those are more troublesome to all of this than anything else. Anything else. AIs are nasty drugs. I've never used an AI, and I've taken as much as 2 grams a week of testosterone. Never used an AI. Now, if you have puffy nipples and you're showing signs of gynecomastia, you may need an AI once a week. Anastrozole is very powerful. 0.5 milligram, it's a suicide inhibitor. It attaches to the aromatase enzyme and stays there. Until your body makes new aromatase enzyme, you're not producing estrogen from testosterone. Doctors overprescribe anastrozole all the time. They tell their patients who are on just 200 milligrams a week without even testing for estrogen, oh, you need to take 1 milligram 3 times a week, 1 milligram every day. That's crazy. That's crazy. Estrogen's important to a man. It protects our brain. Men with the lowest estrogen levels have the highest rate of Parkinson's disease. You don't want that, right? Okay. I would abandon the AI completely. Let your estrogen levels come up. They're going to rebound. They're going to come up way, 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 way high. Your doctors go, oh my God, your estrogen's 134. Give it a couple weeks. Give it a month or two. Let the landscape of aromatase enzyme reestablish itself. Let it get used to the testosterone levels you have. It'll find its way back to normalcy. But more importantly, I wouldn't use 500 milligrams twice a week. And I use twice a week, and I definitely wouldn't use 500 IUs a day, except if it was for like 2 days, 500, and then that's it. Because you're just going to damage your testes over time. Use 100 to 150 IUs of HCG at bedtime. That is where the magic will happen. That is where the spermatogenesis will take place in your sleep. And that is when you want the rise in something that looks like luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which is how HCG stimulates fertility in men. And 25 milligrams of clomiphene a day is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. I wouldn't take it for more than 6 months at that dose. You may start getting moody. You may notice that your emotions are changing, especially if you cut out the AI. In fact, cut out the AI and take the clomiphene. Absolutely. Because remember, clomiphene is a SERM. It's not an AI. It gets docked in the estrogen receptor, and it's a selective estrogen receptor modulator. So it does turn some switches on in the estrogen receptor, not all of them. And the switches that it turns on help promote spermatogenesis. And at the same time, it will lower your estrogen levels anyway, because your body thinks, oh, you've got plenty of estrogen. All these receptors have people living in them. They have molecules living in them. So we're good. I would abandon an AI. I would do the 25 milligrams of clomiphene citrate a day you shouldn't need to do that more than 6 months. And I would move to 100 to 125 IUs at bedtime. You're going to notice your sleep gets better too. You're going to notice deep sleep gets way, way better. Take it right before bed. Literally, like if you read before bed, do all your reading, and like, oh, I'm getting tired, I'm going to go to sleep now. All right, give yourself the shot with an insulin syringe. It doesn't have to be. A lot of people think that HCG has to be an intramuscular injection. No. The only reason why it's intramuscular is when they're giving HCG to women for fertility, they usually give them between 10 and 20,000 units at a time. That's usually like, I don't know, 5 cc's. You can't hang 5 cc's under the skin. You'll end up with a balloon, under your skin. So they give it intramuscularly because it dissipates a lot faster that way. So use it under the skin. Take 100 to 125 IUs of HCG before bed. Give that all, the clomiphene, the HCG, keep your test at 200 milligrams a week. Give that all a couple, 3 weeks, give it a month or two, and go back and have your sperm tested. And I predict that you're going to see changes, and they're going to be beneficial. So give that a try. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We have questions coming in. I already have questions to talk about. And then later in the show, we're going to give you a gift if you're a fan of CBD. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio.
Unlock your potential with the best cognitive enhancement and anti-aging supplements on the market. PureNootropics.net goes the extra mile for the highest quality ingredients, third-party tested to make sure you only receive the best your money can buy. There's no better choice with their money-back guarantee and free shipping. Try their best-selling DHM. Dihydromyricetin prevents hangovers and helps deliver detox after a night of drinking. Get your DHM and other nootropics and longevity supplements from PureNootropics.net, the purest supplement supplements around.
Select Savory Snacks Original Biltong is the healthier alternative to sugar-laden beef jerky. Their sugar-free biltong is seasoned and then air-dried for up to 2 weeks, providing you with one of the most tender and flavorful meat snacks that you've ever had. They also use a fattier cut of beef, which adds to the tenderness and gives their biltong even better flavor. Select Savory Snacks Original Biltong is the perfect snack or travel companion for your busy life. Get a free meat snack sample pack with every order of $75 or more. Get yours today at selectsavory.com/SHR. Use code SHR free. Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon. You've heard me talk about the chill pill on the show and how effective it is at helping people who suffer from social anxiety, or sometimes when you just want to take the edge off to a long, stressful day. Well, listen to this story from Dylan Goutreau.
Definitely takes anxiety away, which I have a long history of having. Started out at 2 milligrams a day of Xanax. That was at 8 years old. And so I stopped using benzos 3 years ago. Extremely difficult. Yeah, so I spent about 3 years trying to find anything and everything I could that would be healthy for me to help with anxiety. Because I'm talking, full out panic attack. The chill pill was the first thing that I found that actually in the middle of a panic attack I can take, and it definitely subsides.
Go to drseeds.com. That's DRSEEDS.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your first bottle of the chill pill. Check it out. I promise this is one supplement that delivers.
Planet Earth CBD offers a fast-acting transdermal patch that targets your aches and pains for the relief you need. Not only is the patch uniquely patented, but it is widely believed to provide larger quantities of available cannabinoids to the source of pain than other brands' subpar products. Effective for 24 to 48 hours. Experience the benefits of Planet Earth's high-quality transdermal patch. Manufactured by Next Generation Technology in an FDA-registered facility. This pressure-sensitive adhesive delivers rich hemp extract directly through the skin. Be it a neck ache or a headache, you can count on CBD to take off the edge. Go to planetearthcbd.com today to learn more.
Over 11 million people in the U.S. have some form of retinal damage, also known as macular degeneration. This is expected to double to nearly 22 million by 2050. Artificial blue light, age, type 2 diabetes are all contributors. Doctors say there's no cure. ARMED is changing that opinion. In one clinical trial, 93% of patients had arrested or improved their condition. 54% reported lessening of glare, reduced dryness, and improved clarity and comfort. And 0% felt worse during treatment and no side effects. Take control of your macular degeneration or keep it from ever occurring. Go to wisechoicemedicine.com and get armed today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where brawn and brains finally meet.
The dangerous part of putting no question is off topic is this next question. So this young lady named Elisa Profumo wants to know, is it a good idea to leave a wasp nest in your deck box if your significant other is allergic to insect stings, especially wasps? No, whoever you're with is a jerk. Why wouldn't he remove them? Oh, maybe because he felt bad for the wasps. So in my defense, we have a deck box, and a paper wasp, husband and wife, I guess, made a little wasp nest. When you open the deck box, it's on the right-hand side underneath the edge of where the lid hooks in. And about, I don't know, maybe a month, it was pretty big. I mean, it was probably about 3.5 inches in diameter. And it had a lot of these little cones, had a lot of these little, whatever you call them, the little holes that they live in. And they made a lot of babies. And within about a month from then, we had like 35 or 40 of these babies. They came out and everybody hung out on, and I guess that's their family home, right? And I felt bad. I felt like, these wasps, who knows how long their lifespan is. And did I just want to kill them all and get it over with? And so I kept thinking that once the young grew up, they would go fly away. But no, they're still living there. It's like their family home. And there's got to be about 30 of them. Every morning I look in the deck box and they're all sleeping right on that nest. Elisa is legitimately allergic to wasps. She had to go for allergy shots when she was a kid because at that time she would go into anaphylactic shock. She doesn't do that anymore. And I kept thinking the wasps will go away. They will go away. It's just a matter of time. Well, they haven't gone away. And in fact, it looks like there's more. Maybe the male wasps brought their girlfriends back to live in the family home. So what I did was I left the deck box open and I let it, because it rains so frequently in Kentucky. And I just said to her, let's just leave the deck box open. We took everything out of the deck box that we needed, leave the deck box open and let the rain take care of them. I figured they'll just get washed away. And sure enough, after one big rain, I went out there and the paper wasp nest was no longer hanging underneath the edge of where the deck lid closes in, the box lid closes in. It was laying down at the bottom of the deck box. I'm like, man, problem solved. No. They're continuing to live on it now, even though it's laying at the bottom of, and it got all wet and soggy and horrible, and they're still there. Well, yesterday, Elisa got bit by a wasp on her leg, and this morning it was like this big around. It's a big red puffy thing. And so on the way home today, I have to go to the hardware store and do something I was trying to avoid doing. And that is I have to pick up a very powerful, some sort of bugs killer. I don't know if I was thinking of getting like a bomb, something that you could pull the pin on, throw it in there like a grenade, close the lid, let it do its work. Then I thought, well, that would coat the inside of the box with some sort of horrible chemical. And then when we put the pillows for the deck furniture and stuff back in there, it would get on it. So I'm rethinking that. What I'd really like to do is smoke them out. I'd love to throw something in there that creates a smoke that makes them leave. Then once they're out, I take their nest and I toss it. Now their home is no longer there. Now they're gone. They're evicted, and I didn't have to kill them all. And that's what I'm leaning towards right now. It's funny, right? I'm a hunter. I have no problem shooting a bear or a deer or anything like that, but I feel sorry for these wasps. So that's my, I guess, the duality of my personality. So there you go. All right, next question came from another person who'll remain anonymous because I didn't ask for permission to do this. He said, thanks so much for your show. It's changed my life in so many ways. One recent was getting on a test replacement. Being 54 and getting skinny fat, this has changed my life and my body recomposition. Yeah, getting on testosterone for an older guy is amazing. It's really like a rebirth. It's like a new life. However, I'm always fighting the unilateral gyno that has plagued me since my teens. I'd love to try your new test product, Natural Rhythm, and I am going to email him and tell him how to tell his doctor to order it because it is available now. Can you let me know how to get my hands on some? Yes, I will. I will email you back. Plus, I love to hear a show on gyno and also prostate health. Also, something of interest to you. After using modafinil, I get the dreadful puffy nipples. I did some digging and discovered that modafinil upregulates cytochrome P450 3A4 enzyme activity. My theory is breaking down the test more quickly into estrogen. I feel focused all day when I use it, but messed up hormonally the next. Yikes. So this is an interesting observation. This is where people in my audience are smarter than me. I don't like modafinil. I've taken it once and I don't like the way it makes me feel. It kind of makes me feel the way yohimbine makes me feel. It makes me feel clammy and weird. And I took modafinil one day and I got rid of the tabs after that. I bought them online. I bought 100 of them. I took one. I was like, this isn't for me. And I got rid of the other 99 because I just don't like the way it makes me feel. So I have never really been interested in the pharmacodynamics or pharmacokinetics of modafinil. But this is interesting because if it does increase certain enzymes in the cytochrome P450 cascade, it's probably doing more than just increasing estrogen. The precursor to aromatase is cyclooxygenase, and we all know what that means, inflammation. So that's interesting. I never knew that. As far as gyno goes, different people develop gyno for different reasons. It's not always estrogen. There's a lot of guys that used to run trenbolone and get gynecomastia because trenbolone is a powerful progestin. So there is progestin sensitivity, but then there's another thing, and that is prolactin. Prolactin is upregulated, I believe, by decadurabolin. And there's guys who get puffy nipples from prolactin. So it's hard to say that exclusively your gyno is the result of high estrogen. It could be prolactin, it could be progestin based. But there are ways to control all of that, the reality is. First of all, we talked about vitamin C at the beginning of the show. Vitamin C and zinc are two natural supplements that you can take that will reduce the aromatase enzyme naturally. It'll reduce it naturally without it being like a blockade, like from an aromatase inhibitor. So it's a much better alternative. It gently reduces the production of estradiol. As far as prolactin and progestins, these are a little trickier. I would actually look to possibly looking to get your DHT levels checked also to see if you're getting a lot of testosterone siphoned off to DHT. There may be other things going on in tissue. It could be that this new testosterone, I'm predicting, will make a lot of these symptoms go away because it follows the natural pulse of daily testosterone. And I think we get into trouble when testosterone rises and stays up for long periods of time. That seems to be the case with testosterone. It's probably the case with progestins and prolactins. But yeah, you have to find out if your estradiol is actually elevated. It's a good theory that modafinil is doing this to you. If you're doing it regularly, I don't know that you're doing it regularly, and it's probably wise that you stop until you figure out where your gyno stimulation is coming from. As far as the prostate goes, nothing in the world is better for prostate health than orgasm. This is not a joke. You can take fish oil. People say, oh, fish oil is good for the prostate. You can take fish oil. You can take nettle leaves. I mean, there's all these natural agents out there being sold for, excuse me, for prostate health. But nothing in the world, nothing is better for your prostate than orgasm. There's a handful of good studies out there. You can find them on PubMed. Just search for prostate cancer, orgasm, ejaculation. Those four things. And you'll find the studies. The men with the highest number of orgasms a month have the lowest evidence of metabolites that seem to predict prostate problems. On top of that, the men with the highest level of orgasms a month have the lowest rate of aggressive prostate cancer. Now, I've talked about this numerous times on the show, and some people come back and say, well, they're having more orgasms because they feel better, they're healthier. And that could be. I don't think it is. I think that when you stop using the gland, that's the reason you are on the planet. And I'm not joking. The reason you're on the planet is to make a baby. It's not to get likes on Instagram. It's not to get a big house with a white picket fence. It's not to get a great job or a Corvette. It's to make a baby. That's the only reason why you're here. It's the trajectory of the species that you are here for, and only that. The research shows profound evidence that men who have the most orgasms have the healthiest prostates. So this is something that cannot be ignored. It's not something your doctor will talk to you about. Orgasms have a profound effect on the prostate. The theory is this. Every time you have an orgasm, it causes a small scarring of the prostate. The accumulation of these scars make the prostate literally bulletproof to cancer. In fact, if you have sex with your wife or your significant other, the day before you go for a PSA test, your PSAs will be through the roof. The doctor will go, oh my God, we got to check you out because it looks like you may have the starting of prostate cancer. And then if you explain to them, no, that's not the case, it's actually, I had sex last night with my wife, then they will absolutely go, oh, okay, forget about it. Yes, that will raise PSAs. Now think about this. If orgasm raises PSAs, that means it's having a profound direct effect on the prostate. Hold on, I have a guest coming on. You just dropped out. So if you want to do something good for your prostate, have more sex. If your wife cares about you or your loved one, the girl that you're with or the guy that you're with, whatever it is, cares about you, they'll help you have more orgasms because orgasms are the number one, they're fire, they're gold, they're platinum, whatever you want to call it. They are the number one important thing that you can do for your prostate. That's number one. As far as, let's see, you said prostate health, you said, and gyno. Yeah, gyno is a tricky one. There's a lot of reasons that guys get gyno. It varies. It is usually hormonal, but it does vary. Let's see what people here say. Keep up the great work. Samurai Jack says, yes. This is an old friend of mine, Dan Williams. Well, I'm good then. Yes, Dan, I'm sure you are. Yes, I know. Dan is an old friend of mine. We worked together when I first moved to Louisville, Kentucky. And he's something very special about Dan, and that is that his dad, Junior Williams, and I share the same birthday, June the 11th. So there you go. I may end up having to take a break. Well, I have to take a break anyway. It's 48 seconds in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a really special offer to my audience. If you're a fan of CBD and all the wonderful things it does, stay tuned. Body Protection Complex, BPC Oral from drseeds.com. Listen to Maggie Kuhn, one of the owners of the C-Bus Lifting Company gym in Columbus, Ohio.
I had been having some nagging tendon issues that weren't injuries, just things that were annoying. You know, I'm 58 years old, so just older tendon kind of issues. For us powerlifters, you know, we really don't stop training when we have just nagging issues. We just kind of keep pushing through. And I started the BPC. What I noticed was I was doing some heavy tricep stuff that would have killed me before when I had an elbow problem, and I was able to do those with literally no pain at all.
Go to drseeds.com, drseeds.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your bottle of BPC Body Protection Complex today. Everybody wants to feel better, be healthier and happier. If you don't sweat profusely on a regular basis, you won't feel as good as you could. Studies have shown the power of infrared sauna. Infrared penetrates 1 to 2 inches into the body. It helps those with back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, and anxiety. Patients get relief from infrared sauna. The Good Health Sauna has been shown to be an exercise mimetic, conveying many of the same benefits as cardio. There are a lot of reasons people buy a Good Health Sauna, but the bottom line is you will be a much happier, healthier person by using the Good Health Sauna every day. You'll crave it, you'll love it, and it will be the best purchase you have ever made. Good Health Saunas provide commercial-grade saunas for in-home and commercial use, backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Unmatched customer service and the best financing makes owning one easy and will fit any budget. Go to goodhealthsauna.com/superhumanradio to learn more and save 25% off. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON, the number 1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon 1 banner ad today. Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon. Chronic stress leaves us tired, distracted, and physically vulnerable. Apollo Neuro is here to help you take control. Apollo Neuro is a new wearable that trains your nervous system to be more resilient to stress. Apollo's gentle vibrations use your sense of touch to help you recover from stress, going from fight or flight to rest and digest so you can relax, get to sleep, focus, and stay healthy. Developed by physicians and neuroscientists, Apollo Neuro has been tested in multiple clinical trials and is proven to improve heart rate variability, the key biometric of stress. Special offer for friends of Superhuman Radio. Try Apollo Neuro today and get 15% off your purchase at apolloneuro.com/superhuman. That's APOLLONEURO.com/superhuman.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Oh, there he is.
Welcome back. So I got more questions I'm going to ask. They're lining up over here, and I will get to all of them. But first, we have to bring a show sponsor on the show, Jason Provenzano. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Wonderful, wonderful. Nice to have another Italian guy on the show today.
Yeah.
So you are with Planet Earth CBD. You guys are a sponsor of the show, and so far we're getting lots of really positive comments about the CBD patch for people who want quick and long-lasting relief on elbow injuries and knee injuries and so on. But we have a new package available to my audience today. Is that right?
Yes, it is. There's a new bundle. It's the day bundle. It's called. It's got the patches and the gummies and the soft gels. And the patches are anytime for pain. The gummies are for sometimes, I would say, quick relief anxiety. If you're feeling a little anxious or whatever, it actually can just calm you down just enough. And then the sleep gummies, they have the melatonin and chamomile in there, and it's a great alternative to help with sleep. My mind goes a mile a minute. If I pop up and I wake up at night, I have a pad next to me so I can jot down what's going on in my brain so that I can then try to focus to go back to sleep. And the alternative would be taking, sleeping pills, and I don't want to do that.
No, that's a bad idea. So the bundle actually is, and I said this earlier in anticipation of our discussion, the bundle is actually, the gummies are good to take when you train too. You can take them in the morning before you go into the gym. It helps you kind of take everything down a notch, get centered, get focused. And if you do have some pain, it'll mitigate the pain and you can train better. I know a lot of people that use CBD to train with now.
Sure. And we make a bunch of different products. If they went to Planet Earth CBD, they would see there's protein with CBD infused. There's the pre-workout with CBD. There's the post-workout with CBD. I realized that I was getting older and there was more ailments with anything that I did. I had a knee replaced, and for a long time I was on prescribed medication, and it was very difficult to get off. We're talking about, opioid.
Right.
And this is, it's huge epidemic in the country. They just write these prescriptions with no care or concern on what the end result is to the person. And you know, it leaves a lot of people almost like a junkie, you know, and we had to come up with some solution. And the more that we did research on hemp and CBD, you know, we found out that it helps a lot of these things that were becoming like an opioid dump center in the brain. You know, you would take it, you'd feel good for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, you'd need to take more. And then after a while, you're physically addicted to it. This is a safe alternative to it.
So it's interesting because since widespread nationwide CBD has become available, opioid prescriptions have plummeted. And that's because more and more people are turning to CBD as the alternative. The other thing that CBD does or doesn't do that opioids do is when opioids start to wear off, the pain. So let's say you're taking an opioid, you get prescribed. Let's say your pain is a 6. And the doc says, we're going to give you an opioid so you can go to work every day and do your thing. Well, once you start taking the opioids, and as you point out, they actually last less and less long. When they wear off, your pain doesn't come back as a 6. It comes back as a 9. It comes back as a 9. CBD doesn't do that. When CBD makes your pain go away, when your pain comes back, it's not worse than it was before.
Well, I'll break my anonymity a little bit. I've been free of medication since July 1st, 2014. I got into a horrific car accident when I was 20 years old. I compounded my ankle right out. They had to remove my ankle and fuse it. I broke my femur in 2 places, my knee in 8 places. And over the years, compensating on the good leg, my knee on the good leg went bone on bone. So I started to go to orthopedic. Orthopedic, would start out with some synthetic cartilage. He then would try some cortisone, and these things would work for a little bit, and then it just progressively would get worse. I mean, there was nothing there anymore. It was strictly bone on bone. He then told me to go to see a pain management guy. So I went to see a pain management guy, and he right away broke out the script pad. I was never addicted to pain medication or anything like that. And, it read, take 1 every 4 hours. And I believe I have what's called selective dyslexia. I started reading it 4 every 1 hour. And, and I'm pretty sure the bottle didn't say crush and inhale at some point, This is what a person will do to just feed their body with it. It's a real problem. I've been in the nutrition industry for over 20 years. I've won every award in this country, entrepreneur wise. And here I was strung out on opioids. I went, thank God I got myself, help, I'm part of a program, and, but the pain, still exists. It doesn't go away. And I honestly do believe when I would actually try Tylenol or Advil or Motrin, that alleviated the pain more than an opioid would, because it was long.
But the opioid had already rewired your brain to crave the opioid.
Oh, yes. It took a long time to reprogram. It was like dialing a phone number, but you were trying to get California and you were getting China, So I had to bring that all back. And, being that I have, such a large group and stuff, when I started to dig into this and stuff, there were lots of red tape. Can you, and everything like that with CBD. And it kind of held me at bay for a while until it opened up. When it opened up, we came right at it. I mean, I had all the research and stuff like that. We made a patch that's transdermal, and the patent is in the adhesive, so like everybody might say they have a great transdermal patch, but the patent that we have on it is in the adhesive, which allows it to break down into your body. The cream is like a miracle cream. I own racehorses, and I was at the track one day, and there was this lady. She was, walking with a cane or whatever, and she was at the track photographer where I was getting a picture, and she was, saying how much pain she was in. And I said, "Can you make it up to the dining room? I have something for you." She came with me up to the dining room, and I was telling her about what it was. And I gave her a jar of cream. She walked in the bathroom, and I swear she didn't need the cane when she came out of the bathroom. It's just unbelievable,
Right.
I live by it now.
So here's what my audience will get. This is an exclusive to this audience. This is not available anywhere else. You get the hemp-derived transdermal patch. You get the hemp-derived soft gels that are infused with melatonin and chamomile for nighttime, bedtime. And then you get the gummies, which are good for any time. You get 20% off if you use this link, shrnetwork.biz/bundle. That's shrnetwork.biz/bundle. That's the only way to get this. Now, this is not available to anybody else out there except the listeners of this show, and it includes free shipping. So it doesn't get any better than this. You get to try the transdermal patches. You'll get to try the nighttime blend to help you sleep better, and the anytime gummy bears that you could just take when life is starting to get on you. You feel like you're stressed out. You want to just take yourself down a little bit, but you don't want to feel sleepy. You don't want to feel lethargic. You don't want to feel stupid. In Italian, we say mushat. You don't want to feel bad about. You want to just feel good. You want to feel good. You want to feel like, I feel good now. That's what the gummy bears are for. Again, 20% off and free shipping. Use the code shrnetwork.biz/bundle to get it and take advantage of it today. I really appreciate you sharing that story. It's touching, and it really shows something that you didn't get into this business because you thought, because I know you have other businesses. This is not your thing, but no. you got into this because it saved your life, right?
Well, 100%. Like I said, I this is what I do for a living, is manufacturing stuff. But I never wanted to challenge branding, because it becomes a little bit of a conflict of interest. But nobody was touching, what was going on with the ailments in the CBD, and I had to make sure that it was the correct brand. I had to make sure that the right testing was done. We send every batch of the raw material out before we get it to make sure that it's THC free. We then send the finished product out to make sure that it's THC free. And we post those results right next to the product. You can go on and you can see the test results right there before you buy it. Because it's very important, as I mentioned, my sobriety is my first and foremost thing. That's how I get by on an everyday thing. And, I can't jeopardize it to make sure that there's any THC. But, I'm a very, I don't want to say, I've learned through time that I can't fix everything. Where I used to think that I had to play God and I had to fix this and that, I became a very anxiety type person. And I know people suffer from that. Not just the opioid thing, but now think about a person that's suffering from anxiety. What do? They go to the doctor. What does the doctor give them? Xanax. Have you ever seen a person on Xanax? It's like alcohol in a pill, but not just like a drink. I'm talking about sitting there, until the bars close and at 4 a.m. That is one pill, thank God. But, somebody needs something to calm them down at times. And let me tell you, that gummy, you take 2 of the gummies and in 5 minutes, you are peaceful. You can sit there and you can focus, and whatever was rattling on in your head, my head's a dangerous place to live in. I don't want to be up there. It doesn't pay rent. I'm going to evict you, So, and that's what the gummy does. It allows me to focus. It allows me to concentrate. And, and then the soft gel, at night, I take 1. If I have to take 2, I take 2, because you can. And I just get a great solid 8, you know, where I
Yeah.
mean, you know, that's what I need. I need to recharge my body, you know. But the line that we came out with, we wanted to make sure people weren't buying, you know, just bunk products that are out there. You know, people don't care about the test results and stuff like that. If you want to buy something genuine, you know, it's made by, you know, a manufacturer, then this is the line for you.
Great product. And we're getting lots of positive feedback about the patch. I had some patches. I sent them to my buddy Joey. He lives upstate New York, retired from the sanitation department in New York, has a bad back. He puts the patch on his back. 2 days later, it's still working.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Never had anything work like that.
I'm telling you that the whole line, for one thing or another, serves its purpose. You know, the recovery, if you really train and train hard, I mean, the gyms hopefully will get open back up soon, you know, and the people got to go in there, and they might not have been in the gym for now 4 months. Now, all of a sudden they get in there, going to be sore. You know, you take the protein, you take the pre-workout, the CBD, it's going to help with the recovery of your muscles and stuff. You know, like I said, it was one line that I wasn't going to cross as far as, you know, having my own brand or whatever, because I just wanted to focus on the manufacturing of products for other people. But I felt this was such a need, and it had to be done.
Again, the hemp-derived transdermal patch, the hemp-derived soft gel infused with melatonin and chamomile, and the Anytime gummies, 20% off if you use the code shrnetwork.biz/bundle. Free shipping as well. Doesn't get any better than that. Give it a try. Of course, this is a sponsor. And like I say all the time, the reason this show exists is because of the sponsors. So always patronize the sponsors whenever you can. Was it Belmont Park you were talking about when we were talking about the racetrack?
No, it happened to be down in Gulfstream. You know, some of my grass horses I send down to Gulfstream, you know, during the winter. But yes, no, I'm a New York-based owner. Have probably about 45 horses right now. They're all up in Saratoga. A couple are over in the Kentucky area, waiting to open back up very soon. Next month, the beginning of the month. But yeah, no, the incident with the lady happened to be down in Gulfstream in Florida.
So when I was a kid, I dropped out of high school, and my father said to me, well, you got to go get a job now if you're not going to go to school. So I started walking hots at Aqueduct. And from that, I ended up becoming a assistant trainer to a guy years later at Belmont Park named at Belmont. But yeah, I cut my teeth on the backstretch there. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who'd you become assistant trainer to?
To a guy named Pat Reynolds. He had he only had a who?
PLR, my man.
You know Pat.
Patty Reynolds. Are you kidding me?
The Fox, they used to call him.
Yeah, the gray fox, the silver fox.
Yeah.
PLR.
Yeah, so Pat. So if next time you see Pat, say I ran into a guy named Carl Lenore that said he used to work with you.
Oh, I could get him on the phone right now.
Yeah. I got to tell you, so you know what? So I'm in Louisville. Next time you come up to Kentucky, let me know. We'll drive. I'm assuming you're at Keeneland, your horses, or are they here?
No, they'll bop around between Keeneland and Churchill, and then they'll go to Oak Lawn, you know, Hot Springs, that sector. I have a couple trainers down there.
Next time you're in Kentucky, let me know, and we'll come and hang out. And tell
For
Pat.
sure.
Tell Pat I still talk good about him. Tell him, say this kid's still talking good about you. What's wrong with him? Listen, thank you for being a sponsor on the show. Okay.
Excellent.
Fantastic,
Thank you.
fantastic products, and we'll have you back on soon, Jason. Thanks for being here, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Carl.
Take care. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have more questions from live listeners that we'll get to. Again, stay tuned. This is Super.
Cookies, chips, and pizzas out of complete dairy-based proteins. Our products minimize net carbs and sugar without sacrificing taste. Each delicious chocolate-flavored chip Cookie Chunk and Crunchy Crumble is custom made to maintain Quest macros. It's time to enjoy foods that work for you, not against you. It's time to enjoy your Quest.
Select Savory Snacks Original Biltong is the healthier alternative to sugar-laden beef jerky. Their sugar-free biltong is seasoned and then air-dried for up to 2 weeks, providing you with one of the most tender and flavorful meat snacks that you've ever had. They also use a fattier cut of beef, which adds to the tenderness and gives their biltong even better flavor. Select Savory Snacks Original Biltong is the perfect snack or travel companion for your busy life. Get a free meat snack sample pack with every order of $75 or more. Get yours today at selectsavorysnacks.com/SHR. Use code SHRFree.
Unlock your potential with the best cognitive enhancement and anti-aging supplements on the market. PureNootropics.net goes the extra mile for the highest quality ingredients, third-party tested to make sure you only receive the best your money can buy. There's no better choice with their money-back guarantee and free shipping. Try their best-selling DHM. Dihydromyricetin prevents hangovers and helps deliver detox after a night of drinking. Get your DHM and other nootropics and longevity supplements from PureNootropics.net. The purest supplements around.
Did you know that your gut is referred to as your second brain? In fact, at least 90% of your serotonin, your happiness chemical, is created in your gut. If you don't take care of your gut, you won't feel good, period. Bioptimizers recently released Cognibiotics, a new breakthrough probiotic formula that is clinically proven to enhance your brain function, your mood, and overall mental health. Most probiotics often include conflicting strains or quantities and can cancel each other out. Cognibiotics delivers the exact strain you need in exactly the right ratios and quantities. With a 365-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee, you can try them out for yourself to start feeling the incredible difference Cognibiotics makes in your mood, mind, and performance. For an exclusive offer to my listeners, go to cognibiotics.com/SHR. That's COGNIBIOTICS.com/SHR and use code SHR10. I love beef. And if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 2 free 10-ounce New York strips when you purchase $50 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to PIEDMONTESE.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at Synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. We're ripped and we're ready.
Well, I haven't thought of Pat Reynolds since I was probably 20, 21 years old, maybe. Maybe not. I think I was probably even younger than that since I worked on the racetrack. All right, so we have a couple questions here to get through. Samurai Jack says, what are your thoughts on the longevity study using HGH, Metformin, DHEA that sheds about 2.5 years off the biological age? First of all, 2.5 years off the biological age isn't a lot. What the study did show that was more interesting to me, that there was a rejuvenation of the thymus gland, which means an improvement in immune function. I think that's more valuable. I don't think you need the Metformin, however. I really don't. I think that intermittent fasting, if you're just a person who stops eating at 6 p.m., and doesn't eat again to the next morning, and you have a good 10, 12-hour window of time in between meals, you'll get all the benefits of metformin. Really, really. I just don't think the metformin is necessary. HGH, yeah, maybe even some secretagogues instead. A lot of people message me all the time and say, is growth hormone better or should I just use secretagogues? I think secretagogues work good. Unless for some reason you really want an aggressive growth factor reaction, then you can use straight HGH. But yeah, I think it's a great study. I just think that the 2.5 years is nothing. It really isn't. I mean, you can shed 2.5 years off your biological age in 2 weeks or 3 weeks by fixing your sleep. Really. I think the real value in that study was the changes in the thymus gland, and that was very overlooked. Bro, do you even towel row? I love that. That's fantastic. He says, I see you run 250 milligrams of 300 tests a week. Does this put you out of range? Also, do you think being slightly above range is safe in general? Yes, I do. In fact, I'm always higher than the range. I'm generally way above 1,500 picograms a milliliter, I think is how they go. Or is it a deciliter? Dr. Basheen said that he did a lot of research on 600 milligrams a week, and he said, I don't hear anything. I don't understand why. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me? Nothing's muted. My mic is open. Dr. Basheen did research at 600 milligrams a week and had great success with it, and none of the quote-unquote bad markers in cholesterol or anything else moved. I think that you can easily... his headphones broke. That's why I was like, what did I do wrong? That's funny. I don't think it's dangerous. I really don't. I think that if you're staying in the 1,500 range, that's doctors will tell you that's way too high. They don't know that it's way too high. Remember, the current assay for testosterone levels in men has been skewed low because when epidemiological research is done to establish what ranges are for blood work, they're looking at a sick population. So all those young guys out there in their 30s and 40s who testosterone levels are in the 400s, they're artificially pulling the range down. So now all of a sudden the range is between 400 and 800. That's baloney. The ranges have been gradually dropping over the past 4 or 5 decades. Why? Because there's something happening to men because of the xenoestrogens and phytoandrogens and all the other crap in our environment that's artificially lowering our testosterone levels. So, I mean, I am absolutely a big fan of a little bit more testosterone. I think 250 is the starting point. I think 350. I think some guys could even get away with 375. I think it's not a bad place to be. Dan, my friend Dan Williams wants to know who my Derby pick is. I don't even know who's running, Dan. I don't follow the horses anymore at all. I just don't. When I quit working at the racetrack and went back to college, I literally stopped following them, betting on them, thinking about them, because for a good 5, almost 6 years, all I did was eat, drink, and smell like horses. So, no. My thoughts on rapamycin. People get mad at me for pronouncing rapamycin, and it's rapamycin or rapamycin. So I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. I take 6 milligrams. I'm not using any right now, quite frankly. But when I do use it, I take 6 milligrams twice a month. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need more than that. And then maybe twice a year, run a Z-Pack, because that actually gets rid of about 97% of all senescent cells in the body. Boom, in 5 days. So twice a year, have your doctor prescribe a Z-Pack for you. And the FDA has approved Z-Packs for the purpose of anti-aging and senolytics. So you don't have to worry about some pharmacist going to you, well, what do you need this for? Do you have COVID? You know, which is, it's gotten ridiculous now. You can't buy a Z-Pack now unless you tell them that you don't have COVID-19. It's just crazy. I think that's it for the questions today. And it was a great show. Thank you for helping me fill this hour, because the show I wanted to do today literally fell out yesterday, and there was no way for us to recover. And it's sad, because I think it's important to talk about the downside of taking too high of a level of antioxidants. Also, I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. So I'm asking people who have watched this show for years and gotten anything out of this show to go to tap.bio/superhumanradio and upload under 3-minute video in your words, doesn't have to be rehearsed, nothing fancy, about why you love the show, why you hate the show, what you like about me, what you don't like about me. All of it. I want to hear all of it. And if the show has provided you with information over the years that has been helpful. I want to know that too. So if you could do that for me, I'd sure appreciate it. Tomorrow, it's Tuesday. We have Coach Rob Regish come on for the Blueprint Power Hour. So don't miss that. That'll be a lot of fun. Again, don't forget the offer from Planet Earth CBD. You get the hemp-derived transdermal patch, the hemp-derived soft gel infused with melatonin and chamomile for sleep, and the Anytime hemp gummies at a 20%. I want to keep saying 25% off. I'm sorry. It's a 20% off plus free shipping if you use the link shrnetwork.biz/bundle. So check that out. We'll see you tomorrow with more Superhuman Radio. Thank you for helping me fill the hour today, all of you who participated. See you tomorrow.